let's talk about tonight's win. Kings win 123-117. They are now 11 games above 500. They're 4-0 after the break. It's hard looking at this record and seeing 36-25. So coming out of the break, you beat the Blazers, you beat the Clippers, and now you beat OKC twice. Again, without SGA, but De'Aaron Fox did not play tonight. Were you concerned when you found out the news that De'Aaron Fox was not going to be able to go?
Absolutely. You saw the way that OKC battled the other night. I mean, we were talking about this for a little bit. We had to call a Stockton Kings game earlier today, and on the way back, I was saying the same thing. OKC is still an NBA team. You don't know when these NBA teams can just go off.
They've got talent, too.
They do. They have young talent, and then you've seen at the end of games, SGA is the reason why they end up getting a win. It's a big shot. He makes a big play, whatever it is. But it still takes this team to battle through, and they have something that they're developing there. But it's not quite there, and the Kings keep taking little I don't know, growth. Like they just keep growing game by game. These last 4 games for them, we have seen actual growth from this entire Kings team.
There's definitely some lows from this game that we do have to talk about. Let's go over the highs, and it's the starting lineup tonight. You know, the starters were amazing in this game, and it was encouraging to see. I think the guy that we were all looking at to start this game was Davion Mitchell, because he got some opportunities when Fox was out just a couple of weeks ago before the All-Star break, where it was really disappointing.
Yeah.
Where he didn't give him much. At some point, they just went without a point guard because Delly wasn't going to give him anything. He hit a couple of threes tonight. And, of course, he played legit defense like usual. But the fact that he had 15 points, he did on 6 of 10 shooting, 3 of 7. He also had 4 assists in this game. What stood out to you about his game?
Well, I think he has a career high 5 threes made in a game. So hitting those 3, you know, you were feeling like, oh, he's feeling it. Not to say that his outside shot should be the thing that dictates his entire game, but truly that's been the struggle for Davion, right? We know game in, game out, he's going to succeed on the defensive end, even if it is a taller guy that can shoot over him. He's going to disrupt. He does so many things the way that his screen navigation, his rotations, everything. But offensively, seeing him look confident like he could be a floor manager a little bit more out there tonight was good.
I thought the starters made it a point to push the pace tonight too. And without Fox, you get worried about that. We've seen it this year without Fox. In fact, they were 1-4 without Fox headed into today's game. So you're going, okay, are they going to be able to get anything? You can't get nothing from your other point guards on the roster. Davion not only brought out defensively, he was able to play 32 minutes tonight. You know, this is a guy that really lately has been a 10 to 14 minute a game player.
Yeah.
And for him to come in and produce like this tonight was big time for the team. They needed it, and you got to give him credit. You know, he needed to have this kind of game. I think we've all been critical lately of like, man, he's not knocking down any shots. And
sure.
I think part of it, there's many reasons to it, and we talked about it. Just he's one of those guys that needs more than 2-3 minutes to get comfortable in a game. Well, what do you know? He plays the first 7.5 minutes of this ball game, right?
Yep, finds
he
a
gets
flow.
into a better rhythm. Then in the second half, you look at, second quarter, he plays the final 7:54. Of course, these opportunities aren't going to be there when Fox returns.
Sure.
But he can try his best to make an impact in those minutes. And it's challenging. He's got to kind of find it. It's also different for him because he's playing with a different group, right? Like,
yeah,
a lot of nights he's playing with Davion, Monk, Lyles, Metu. That bench unit that was really bad tonight, right?
Yeah. And so that's why him being able to play with that starting unit makes a big difference, right? I mean, you see it in his game. You see it in his confidence because he's not the only one out there that has to manage things. You know that you can rely on Domas Sabonis. You know you can rely on Herter and Sabonis in the 2-man game. So for Davion, I love the way that he stepped up. I don't know to Deuce, and this is something I know we're having Jordan with Swish Cultures on tomorrow on our daily show, and he's a hooper. I'm so curious how guys, if that's supposed to be their role in the league, but you aren't that good of a player when you're not getting those minutes as when you are getting those minutes, how do you become good at that? How do you find a way to be efficient? Is there something that you can practice in the offseason? Is it with time and experience being in that role? But for Davion, I just feel like throughout the league, that's mainly going to be the role. And I'm hoping it's here in Sacramento that he can find how to be super efficient in those small minutes that he's playing.
Well, it was a great game for him. Of course, he was great defensively, too. 6 of 10, as I mentioned. 3 of 7 from 3. 15 points for him in the win. The next guy, Morgan. Let's give some love to HB.
Harrison Barnes digging inside. Up and under. Wild reverse, and he scores it. Oh, my goodness. What a job by Harrison Barnes.
He wasn't done.
Davion in the front court. Kings 5-on-4 for the moment. Open, right corner. Harrison Barnes. He scores the triple. The Black Falcon gets the Kings back to a 10-point lead.
Harrison Barnes, 29 points. He had 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 of 13 shooting. He was 4 of 5 from 3, 9 of 10 from the line. Again, another example of, all right, Fox is out. This guy's been dropping 30 bombs all the time. He's scoring 40 in a game. He's been on absolute fire. Who else is going to step up? HB, going to need you to be more aggressive tonight. We're going to need you to attack, especially this OKC team. He was getting to the line, knocking down his shots. Woo.
I love the way that he was getting to the line, right? We know how strong Harrison Barnes is, but on nights like this, you just said it. When you have to step up to another level, there's no one else. What else are you going to do? He really stepped up as a leader. He stepped up as a scorer. He stepped up as a guy that was going to create and then also make sure that he was flaring out, being open for 3 and knocking down those shots as well. I loved what we saw from Harrison Barnes. But what I also love is knowing that he has that no matter what, but he's got it for when De'Aaron and Sabonis don't have it, right? Like he knows his role when those two are on the floor and can be productive and contribute at such a high level when he is needed. Just a vet, just a pro.
Yeah, he was really awesome in this game for Sacramento. I feel like we're going up and down the starting lineup and going, oh, yeah, this guy was awesome, this guy was awesome, because the starters were really, really good in this game. In fact, that starting group, the final 6:55 of the game, they did not miss a shot. 7 of 7. That's from our guy, Will Z, dropping that nugget on social media. And, yeah, it was one of those things that they had to rely on their starters in this game to play them some significant minutes. End of this trip where it's kind of drawn out. You played some competitive games. That long game you had against the Clippers the other night, the battle against OKC the other night, and then tonight, HB gives them 37 minutes.
Yeah, it's exactly the way that these guys step up for one another, truly. Like you talk about that with not necessarily having tired legs. I didn't see guys out there look fatigued, but at the same time, after that Clippers game, I was like, when is it going to hit them? Right. I mean, there are so many players playing over 40 minutes in that double overtime win. Then you're taking on OKC, who went at them, tried picking up their pace, tried staying with the Sacramento Kings, wore them out a little bit in that last game. They came out engaged, ready to go again. That's what I think I've been most impressed with, even this little road trip, is the way that they've come out each game, right? I mean, obviously with Portland, it was a slower start. It wasn't a good first quarter, but they faced adversity, turned things around. You're starting to see them just come out, smack people in the face, play their game, play their pace.
Yeah, here's what Mike Brown had to say after the win tonight.
Great job by our guys coming in here and getting a win, especially with Foxy sitting out. I kind of challenged the guys before the game. I said we got to get greedy, and when you're greedy in situations like this, that means you have a chance to be great. Because we could have said, hey, Fox is not playing, SGA is not playing. If we lose this game, it's okay because we're 2-1 on the trip, and we're still sitting comfortably in third, and go through the motions and let's get back home, But our guys, they came with a little bit of an edge tonight, and so they played greedy. And that's what excites me about this team is, knowing what's at stake and still coming and performing the way that they did and getting the win and finish this trip off the right way gets me really excited about the group.
Yeah, and he should be excited. It goes to what you're just saying, Morgan. It's like, I don't know if it's an approach. We had that cut from Terrence Davis after, what was it, the Blazers game. He was just talking about how over the All-Star break, he was just thinking about the significance of what the playoffs would mean for this organization.
Yeah.
And it seems like all these guys are kind of like, yeah, we can't be messing around here. Like, obviously the Kings are going to lose some games at some point post All-Star break, but you just need to put yourself in a position to keep building and create that separation in the standings, because now all of a sudden you got teams like the Lakers. They just lost LeBron. How long is he going to be out? They lost tonight, right? Dallas, they just lost again, this time at home to the Pacers. So that separation is growing right now. The Clippers are playing a game right now against Minnesota. We'll see how that one finishes. And then you've got Minnesota coming up on, you've got the Clippers on Friday and then Minnesota on Saturday.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't know what to say when it comes to a team like the Clippers. When you see the matchup against OKC, I feel like it's easier to be like, you got to get this win, right? This is a game you have to win. It's still not easy beating an NBA team back to back, right? And then you have the Clippers, a team that they just played a couple of games ago. So the Clippers obviously want revenge.
Sure.
And I want to come into this game because they beat them and say, oh man, you got to win this game because you know how to beat them. But this is one of those games where it's not easy. I'm a little bit more scared looking ahead at the Clippers. Russ has a few more games.
You scared?
I'm just a little scared.
How many wins do they have since that Kings lost?
I don't know how many.
Well, they lost in overtime.
I know that.
To Denver, and they're losing right now to Minnesota.
Losers. No, but seriously, even Russ trying to get into the mix and the way that he pushed the pace in that first game, the team followed. And then I know Russ was benched against the Nuggets because of matchup purposes. So, they're still trying to find their way. And I think that's your angle. That's what you need to capitalize on. This team's going to still do a great job when they're in the postseason. They're going to have their chemistry together. They have vets. They have experience. But right now, while they're figuring things out, step on the gas pedal and get them.
Yeah, well, they're 36-25, the Kings. They're now 18-13 on the road. That's a ridiculous road record. It's the best road record in the Western Conference right now.
That's so great.
That's awesome. And to be above 500, but you're 18-13 on the road?
And you literally hear Light the Beam chants in almost every single arena.
Yeah. So, good for HB for stepping up. I thought Keegan tonight, I loved how Keegan played. And I know if you didn't watch the game and you just looked at the box score, you go, okay, 13-10-4, that's a nice game. He played some really strong defense. How about his putback jam tonight, Morgan?
Herter has it in transition. He finds Harrison Barnes. Wide open in the corner. Davion for three. No good. Stick back. Keegan Murray coming from the left baseline. And the Thunder will take another timeout.
Yeah, I thought Keegan looked great tonight. And he had another play late in the fourth quarter. The Kings needed a bucket. Shot clock was winding down. He made the right decision, drove it inside, launched a jumper, buried it. I think you're seeing that we keep talking about this the last few podcasts. I feel like the growth, there was a stretch throughout the season. And it was like, why is he just standing and shooting? Is that what they want him to do? Is that what they want his role to be? That's cool. He can knock down the three.
You even said it. You're like, he needs to do more for himself or someone needs to find more for him.
Because he is capable of more. And maybe it's just a confidence thing. Maybe it's like prodding Keegan, who's like this nice guy, to go, no, I understand you want to get your teammates involved. And I actually love some of the passing today.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw some instances in the first half where he's the pick and roll ball handler with Sabonis. And I'm like, whoa. So this guy went from standing on the wing or in the corner ready to catch and shoot a three, or right when he gets the ball, it's hot potato to his teammate. Now he's trying to make plays. He's putting the ball on the floor, put back jams. He's attacking the glass. His rebounding has gotten so much better. I just love the growth. I mean, it's smooth. You're starting to see a legit weapon for the Sacramento Kings in Keegan Murray.
Timing, high IQ guy, and he's a rookie. I was listening to Cowbell talk before our pod.
Shout out Cabo Talk.
Love that space. And I believe it was Megaloo that was on, and she was talking about with Keegan all the great things, all the little things that he was doing. And she was saying, like, you know, I know he's like a robot, but whatever they reprogrammed him with before the game, you know, to give him a little update and say, you can dribble the ball more. It's so true, though. Like, that is what we're seeing him do. And I think it's ever since Mike Brown just communicated and had that conversation, like, hey, you need to work on your dribbling in the summer. And then he was like, I can dribble, coach. And he's like, oh, actually, Keegan's here.
I can dribble, coach. Like, it's not a big deal.
That's a much better Keegan than Mike Brown's.
Also, the chat is popping tonight, and I appreciate you guys being here. But a couple of people have said, yeah, you guys look high as F tonight. Morgan, I think, has some sort of sinus thing. I think I'm just tired. You know, I just called the G League game this morning.
Yeah, man.
Kings game tonight, then this. So I just look tired. I feel all right.
And it's smoky in here because we do the Victory fog machine.
So the chemicals are probably killing our brain cells as we speak. So if we're coming across high, I promise we're not.
No.
Unfortunately.
Just vibing.
Yeah. Just feel good.
Just vibing.
No, but with Keegan, it's so encouraging to see. It is so encouraging to see the growth from him. And yeah, there's aspects of his game, like you're right, the handles, that he's got to improve that stuff. But when you see him look better than he did last week or the week before, and then defensively, I think he's moving really well too.
That's it. The steps that he takes, the growth that he has game by game. Yeah. He's just so coachable. You tell him one
step
thing he takes, every shot he makes, every time he moves, every time he talks. I'm in love with Keegs. I don't know.
C-.
You're just, that was really hard because I'm like really trying to analyze now, and you're throwing a song at me.
I know, but I thought about it and I threw you the lob earlier. You laid it up and I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw one more lob.
That was, okay, this is like Malik Monk when he throws too many passes and you're like, hey, you already tried that one. Don't do it again.
It wasn't bad.
Don't do it again.
I'm going to give me a C for throwing you the pass.
Of course you are.
Like, you know, on 2K when you get graded for the passes.
Yeah.
You don't know that. You just said yes.
No, but I'm like,
you get graded for like a. Yeah.
I actually have seen that before. You act like I'm an idiot, and I've never seen any part of 2K.
I did not say that. Have you played 2K? I'm sorry, I didn't know you were a 2K guy.
I have not played 2K though. Okay. Absolutely not. But
anyway, back to Keegan.
Back to Keegan Murray. I think the way that he's just so coachable and shows that growth each and every game. You tell him something, he attaches to it, and and especially if he respects you, if you're a basketball mind and you're just like, hey, you need to work on this, or you should do more of this. And I feel like if there's teammates around him being vocal about certain things, go here, come off here, let's do a pick and roll, dribble handoff, whatever it is. Like, he's down to go.
If you have him being able to run more pick and rolls with Sabonis.
Come on now. Come on, hey.
Morgan, that's disgusting.
Oh, I know.
That's disgusting. Yeah, so his growth has been really tremendous. 13 points, 10 rebounds, 4 dimes. He had a steal, 5 of 10 shooting, 3 of 7 from three-point land, too. And I just hope the rebounding can kind of keep up. I think that's one area where they really need him.
Yeah.
I thought tonight against a smaller OKC team, they did a pretty good job rebounding.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you think it's just a size thing? Like, he needs to get stronger and that's what it's going to...
He's playing more physical now.
Yeah,
I mean, I see it. Like,
is.
I think there were stretches early in the season where it looked like, especially on drives, he was kind of avoiding the contact. Mm-hmm. I mean, even down low. I mean, we've seen him like wrap up guys.
Yep.
We're seeing him grab the ball, forcing jump balls,
initiating
he's getting
the
after
contact.
rebounds.
Yeah.
Like, he's understanding. Like, hey, I'm a big dude. I'm strong. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm a rookie. I need to go do that stuff. So it's good to see that growth. I mean, the rebounding he's been doing since really Mike Brown called him out compared to before that. Significant.
Yeah, it's like you said, you look at that stat line, nothing too sexy about it, but you watch the game and you're going, oh, he's doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah, Sato in the chat brings up a good point. The goal for King is to get to the free throw line more. And yeah, that's another area in his game that, to be fair, should get better. Because, he did not take one tonight. And he's going to knock him down if he gets to the line. All right, Morgan, let's get to some of the lows of this Kings game.
Hey.
The Kings won 123-117. Morgan, the bench tonight. Let me just give you some numbers. Sacramento scored 123 points in this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bench scored 24 points. The Kings as a team had 34 assists. The starters had 29 of those assists.
Okay.
The bench shot 6 of 21, 28%. They were 3 of 17 from 3. So 17 of their 21 attempts came from 3. They had 9 turnovers in this game.
Hey, things got mixed up with De'Aaron Fox being out of the game, but you should still be able to figure it out a little bit more.
I understand why they like Dellavedova. He just can't play anymore. And it's like...
He hit a 3.
He did hit a 3. He did a 3. And I like Delly. I think he's great for a locker room.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times is he keeping guys calm or just kind of
He's experienced, man.
He's like an assistant coach in a way, right? But when you start looking at these situations, and look, in the perfect world, you're not going to have to use him a lot. I just look at that position and go, man, if Fox has to miss time, or what if Fox and Mitchell get in foul trouble in a game? Like, you have to be able to trust that someone can come in and run things, and it's defensively, it's offensively, it's just not good. And it's one part of this team you go, man, should they look to just upgrade? And you may not have to use that person, but tonight it was really bad. And it really messed with the whole bench unit, right?
Yeah.
I think the other thing that messed with it, I thought Brown let those guys rock for too long. And I think you saw it where the starters build up a big lead and the bench just let it evaporate. All of a sudden, OKC goes in this 3-2 zone against his bench unit. Bench was like, we don't know what to do with this. That can't happen. And I know some were wondering, okay, let Malik Monk kind of do his thing. Malik Monk benefits so much from being able to vibe off Sabonis. They have a nice little two-man game, and that's the biggest issue with Fox being out. Brown wasn't really staggering the lineups the same. Usually he's got Fox or Sabonis out there at all times, and if not, like lately, he's been doing it a little more with Davion, of course. But that's Davion, right? Like, even with his struggles, Davion is better than Dellavedova. I just thought the bench tonight was really, really, really bad. And it was just a bit concerning for me.
Well, you even saw PJ Dozier come in for a second, right? And I thought maybe there was a chance there because Mike Brown didn't trust Dellavedova. And what's interesting about today is that you and I at 11 a.m. were calling a game in Stockton where we got to see Keon Ellis have a fantastic game. Probably one of the best games we've seen in person.
He was awesome.
Of Keon Ellis tonight. And it was one of those games I see it now. It was not only on the defensive end, but it was the way he was creating and being a leader on the offensive end and his ability to score on the offensive end earlier today. So when we talk about this, I still look at someone like Dellavedova and I go, but that experience and why that matters so much. But yes, at the same time, what are you going to do if De'Aaron hurts his hand in the second quarter of a game, knock on wood? What are you going to do if that happened with Davion Mitchell and then you have to, what is your answer? And I know you want to roll with this, but man, if you want to make a mark in the postseason, you got to have more. I mean, again, postseason rotations are obviously shorter too,
he might
and everything.
Tighten it up, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it was just a bit concerning that tonight, and I don't know, and maybe I'm making too much of it too.